I wanted to talk about the history of Cancun and the Mayan ruins there. So first off, I'm going to tell you about how to visit them. Um, the main ruins are found in San Miguelito archaeological zone if you're going there and you're going by bus, which is a good way to get there from the hotel zone. Well, it's actually located in the hotel zone. Then a good way to get there is by bus. But if you don't know totally how to get there or what stop, you can stop just kind of right by the ocean. There'll be a little stop there. And if you're trying to ask the locals for help, it's easier if you ask for the Museo Mayo. Because if you try and ask for the archaeological site, they're, at least in my experience, they got a little confused. So it's easier if you ask for the Museo Mayo. More of them know what that is. So that's how you get to that one. And then there was another archaeological zone right by that one, but it was closed when I went there in 2021. So that was that. And then also there's El Rey, which is located a little closer to the market, kind of more in downtown Cancun. And you can get to that one by bus as well. And then there's a couple other smaller ones as well. So I want to preface this video by saying I'm not an expert in Mayan history. I do have a bachelor's in history, but I mostly focused on medieval Europe. So although I'm not an expert, I did do a lot of research for this video, and a lot of information was actually pretty hard to find. Mostly it just had like one paragraph in most of the websites, and you're mostly relying on archaeology. So without further ado, we'll get into the history. So the two main sites are El Rey and San Miguelito. And the two sites were actually connected by a road. And then with all the development of the hotels and everything and the golf course, some of the smaller ruins have presumably been lost. And there was a road that connected those two cities together. So the cities, there's some evidence of at least El Rey, of it being populated in the around 250 AD. But the cities flourished. San Miguelito was a post-classic site from 1100 to 1450 AD. And so both the sites, San Miguelito and El Rey, they decreased when the Spanish arrived. Then they brought diseases and the sites became abandoned. But that's actually unique because most of the classical cities like Chichen Itza, a lot of the main kind of big prominent Mayan cities had already been either greatly diminished or completely abandoned when the Spanish actually arrived. So these sites were actually flourishing when the Spanish got there. And so these sites, they're mostly fishing villages. In El Rey, they also worked on salt extraction. And El Rey was also a port, so these were important cities mostly for trade, kind of like Tulum, although not as prominent. So San Miguelito is, like I said, it's an extension of El Rey, and it was separated by the Avenida Cuculana, if I'm saying that correct. It was the road which ran in between the two different areas, and it was part of the Icatib, the Black Earth, which ruled over the northeastern portion of the Yucatan at the time that the Spanish invaded. So like I said, the Spanish, most of the classical cities had been abandoned, but this city was still flourishing in the post-classic period. So when the Spanish got there, they were still trading, and it was still a prominent city. The origins of the name are unknown, but the modern name comes from a coconut farm, which is, they own the land where that particular site is today. So they were exporting dried fish, salt, honey, and stingray, which was important for bloodletting ceremonies. And then they were importing things like quartz, obsidian, flint, jade, basalt, and other important items. And also unique to the site, they built some of these sites to where they were protected by a huge sand barrier to protect it from the water. And then it also had a lake which was prominent for fishing, so they picked a good location for the settlement. Some of the structures on the site include the main pyramid, as well as a palace and some other smaller buildings. So both of the sites were built in the East Coast architectural style, which is actually the same architectural style that was used in Tulum. And then, yeah, that's basically the video. So I thought it was interesting to learn a little bit more about the history of Cancun. Normally, it's hard to find information on it. Most of the information just focuses on Cancun itself and the recent history with the resorts and the development of all that. But if you dig a little bit, yeah, you can find the history of the region itself. So I thought that was interesting. And certainly if you're in Cancun, you can stop by either instead of the bigger sites. If you don't have time for that, you could just stop by the local sites, or along with the bigger sites, you could stop by. That's what we did. We saw Tulum, and then we also saw San Miguelito and the Museo Mayo. We didn't see El Rey just due to time constraints, but yeah, it's definitely worth a stop, and it's just $4 to get in, so definitely check it out if you get the chance. Thanks for watching the video. Bye.